Joe, I'd like to start with you. How bad is this? How bad was this report? And how bad is this political issue for President Biden right now?
Elizabeth, it's bad. Politically, it's bad. And I say that as someone who doesn't want Donald Trump anywhere near the White House again. But it's also an opportunity. Look, there's one issue and only one issue that would keep Joe Biden from getting reelected, and that's his age. Is he up to the job? That's it. That's an issue that concerns most Republicans, independents, and Democrats. Joe Biden has to address that issue. He's got to get out there and do something about that issue. Elizabeth, I don't care what a White House spokesperson says. I don't care what some campaign surrogate says. Joe Biden himself is going to have to get out there himself and show the American people that he's up to the job.
Right.
If he can do that, he'll be fine.
Chris, to that end, why isn't Joe Biden on a hotline to CBS News saying, I'd like to do that Super Bowl interview after all? He has an access to 100 million viewers on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. He turned down the traditional presidential interview in the lead up to that game. Shouldn't he be on TV right now, quelling these fears and concerns that he's not up to it?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with Joe more. Look, it is definitely a concern. Perception is reality in politics. And the perception that too many voters have of Joe Biden is that he is not up to the task. Now, I disagree with them. I think Joe Biden has been one of the most consequential presidents in the last 50 years in this country. I think he saved us from the ruins that was left to him by Donald Trump. But that said, voters are going to see this report as it confirms something they are already suspecting. Now, I think the report was way out of line. I thought those insults were gratuitous, but Joe Biden and his campaign need to do something about it. Second term, they don't have to pretend he's young and vigorous. We could play on his experience and wisdom, which is why he's been so successful. But for the next 9 months, we need vigor. That's going to get him reelected.
Yeah, I have to say, you're a former, Chris, you're a former Democrat, or you are a Democratic strategist. Maybe you're still strategizing. One former Biden official called last night's press conference brutal. Why did anybody in his strategic team think it was a good idea to send him out at 8:15 at night after a long day and stand before a rowdy scrum of reporters shouting questions about his mental fitness? Yeah. And then he makes yet another verbal gaffe on live television.
Well, sometimes principals do what they want to do. I'm sure Joe could attest to that when he was a principal. They go out and they do what they want to do when they want to do it. I have seen Joe Biden speak for many, many years. He has always made gaffes like that. This is who he's always been, right? So it plays on the existing narrative and it makes it worse right now. But I don't think it's anything different. That, Joe Biden is the same guy who got the infrastructure bill done, who's kept the government running, who dug us out of the COVID hole that Donald Trump left us in. Joe Biden's been doing a great job as president. He's not doing such a great job communicating that he's up to the job to the general public who are only paying attention to short clips. Yeah. He's got to do a better job than that, and his staff's got to direct him better.
Yeah, Joe, when your defense line is, quote, I'm an elderly man and I know what the hell I'm doing, end quote, that's not good. You're playing beyond defense.
Oh, my gosh, Elizabeth, you're so right. And that press conference last night was such a disaster. Look, again, I'm sorry if I'm repetitive. This is the only issue that will keep Joe Biden from losing to Donald Trump. But, Elizabeth, it's such a great opportunity. They blew it last night. I want to see Joe Biden embrace his age. I want to see him have fun with it. I want to see him be honest about it. Elizabeth, I'd love him to get in front of the American people and say, you know what, I am older. And it sucks. Yeah, I forget stuff. I mess up names and dates. So I have to take a 30-minute nap every day. You know what? But look at what we've done. If Joe Biden embraced it, Elizabeth, like that, the American people would embrace him.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.